So, one of the most detrimental things that we can do to ourselves is to impose certain expectations that we have for ourselves and demand that we live up to those expectations. And I say this because I was reflecting on the patterns I was creating today for the pattern challenge that I'm doing, the 100-day surface pattern design challenge, to get back into surface pattern design and see if I can build a business from it. Um, and the self-imposed expectations I was setting for myself was I need to have patterns that look amazing, that are detailed, have a lot of visual interests, that are busy, as opposed to what I'm actually producing, which are basically very simple, abstract patterns, but they still have visual interest in that they keep your eye kind of trying to figure out where's the edge of the pattern. Like that's what your eye is doing when you're looking at patterns, you're trying to figure out where does the pattern start and stop. And that was so that experience has taught me that the I could be dissatisfied with the patterns I'm creating currently and be like, oh my gosh, why am I creating such simple things? Why aren't they more complex? Why aren't they more beautiful? Why aren't they more amazing? But what I'm producing is still beautiful, amazing in and of itself. Even the bad art is good and amazing because it's being produced. And that had me thinking, and I was just like, why is it that stuff, we put, not only do we want to live up to the expectations of other people, but we also want to live up to the of our expectations of our self-imposed expectations. And that is like, if you look at that as it is, the expectations that other people have of you, half the time we never know what they are because we imagine what they are for ourselves. And we can, let me speak for myself. Sometimes I don't know what people like. I don't know what people expect from me really if I don't communicate and find out what it is they expect from me. But I may visualize and think, oh, this person expect this from me, but have this has the person said that? No, but it's just kind of like a projecting of this is what I believe other people think of me, so therefore I must live up to what other people think of me when it's really your own perspective, my own perspective, which is what I'm looking through. I'm looking through the eyes of other people through my own lens, if that makes sense. And that I'm starting to realize can lead to a recipe for disappointment. Um, for example, I'll show you two patterns. There's this one pattern that I did in the past, pattern exhibit A, and then there's the pattern I did today, exhibit B. And I'll try and see if I can get them lined up side by side so you can have a look at them. When you look at both of them, they are doing different things. They're telling different stories and they're coming from different approaches. Because when I drew the pattern on the visually busy pattern on one day, I was experiencing different things. And when I drew the simple pattern that I did today, I was experiencing different things. I was in a different place at a different time. And I was just thinking about coffee beans. I was like, oh, I really need some coffee. And all I could start drawing was yellow coffee beans in an abstract manner. And they could look like leaves to you. They could look like, I don't know, just random um, images or motifs. But to me, they were coffee beans. And I was just like, I need coffee. I kept drawing the coffee beans. And it's not fair to expect myself to always do a certain pattern style every single day and say, oh, I want my patterns to be like this kind of the first image I showed you, the pink and purple pattern, the ditzy type busy pattern. And in the same way, it's not unfair to expect yourself to do certain things all the time and expect yourself to do certain things all the time because that's what you want. Sometimes that's not where you are as a person. When you think about um when you think about where you are in terms of like emotionally, mentally, physically, all of the things, right? You may be in a space where you don't have the energy to produce the thing that you're demanding of yourself to produce. And it's just one of those things where self-compassion comes into place. Instead of pushing yourself through the resistance of I don't want to. Oh, it's so busy out there. Hearing all sorts of cars. But basically, instead of pushing yourself through the resistance of I don't want to, of oh, I want to create certain things, like I want to create busy, beautiful patterns all the time. Instead of putting that expectation of myself and demanding that from myself every single time, it's all compassionate to myself and to yourself to say instead, actually, I did this the other day, but today is a different day, and the energy levels that I have today are not the same energy levels I had when I did that thing that I did yesterday, the busy beautiful pattern. So let me do what I can today. Let me still show up. Let me still produce if that's what you're wanting to do, and let me be compassionate to myself and do things that I can do in the how can I say this, in the capacity that I have to do them in that moment in time. And I feel like that's a better approach rather than, because sometimes we hear all this productivity advice that's like based on hustle culture that says, oh, you need to grind and hustle and I'll sleep when I'm dead, and whatever it is that people say, you need to push through the resistance. And I feel like there's a time and place to push through the resistance. There's a time and place to put concentrated effort into a thing, but that's not an all the time kind of thing, because I believe that we live a life we go through seasons of life, especially as women. We are seasonal beings because we go through a monthly cycle that's a seasonal, cyclical thing that affects our bodies, our minds, and how we show up, our emotions, our everything. And similarly, even as human beings, now generalizing to everyone, if you live in a country where there's seasons, you become a seasonal, or every country has seasons, let me say that. But if you live in a country where there's like 4 seasons, for example, you know that the same energy you show up with in winter is not the same energy you're showing up with in summer, is not the same energy you're showing up with in spring. You give yourself compassion to be like, okay, it's winter time. Things are a bit, especially if you're in the UK, things are looking a bit sad, a little dreary. Let me do what I can with the energy that I have, show up and do the things that I desire to do so that I can live the life that I desire to live. But I'm not gonna push myself too much because it's winter time. The energy is not there. At least this is for me specifically. When summertime comes, I know that okay, I've got so much more. I'm solar paneled, solar powered, so I've got so much more battery. I've got so much more battery to go off. So let me use that energy to do more things that I would do as opposed to when it was winter. So in the same things, when you're showing up for yourself daily, try to I try to balance. I'm now going to try and balance my self-imposed expectations with being compassionate to myself and showing up in a way that honors that self-compassion but gets the thing done at the same time. without being hustily culturally about it. So I'm one of those people actually who is anti hustle culture because it doesn't work for me as a person. Like I can't, like I it's kind of ironic because obviously I want to build my dream life. I haven't really talked about what my dream life looks like, but I can do that in other videos. But I want to build my dream life. But I don't believe my dream life is based on hustling and grinding and suffering to achieve that. I believe that there's a level of ease that has to be part of my dream life is experiencing a level of ease that allows me to do the things that I need to do, but still not suffer for it, if you know what I mean. And it took me a long time to accept that because I was brought up in a way that you had to suffer for the thing you had to you wanted. You had to, you know, be like, if you're an artist, if we're talking about artist stereotypes, you have to be that stereotype of like, woe is me, that art, I'm forgetting to that the archetype I'm thinking of, like, but it was kind of like, woe is me, I'm the wounded artist, and I have all of this tragic history that shaped me into the artist that I am today. Kind of like some of the most famous artists that we know, like Mozart, I believe, or um let me not quote musical people because I'm not quite confident with that, but maybe like Picasso, who suffered, I believe, with, I think he's the one who cut off his ear. Was it Picasso or was it somebody else? But you know, if you know more, please comment in the comment in this comment section and let me know if you know if it was Picasso who cut off his ear, who was kind of like suffered with mental health issues, I believe, or if I'm wrong, correct me. I'd appreciate that. But what I'm trying to get to, the point I'm trying to get at is that we don't have to suffer to live a life that we desire. And we live in a world where ease is possible to pursue, unlike any other time that we've experienced in history, where ease was just like, it was all about survival rather than pursuing other desires and needs that we had for ourselves. So don't let yourself imposed expectations dictate to you that you've got to suffer in order to get to where you want to get to. Um, my name is Tandy, and I'm a multi passionate maker who is reimagining work for herself. And this is my 100-day challenge, and this is day 3. And I appreciate you watching up until this point. I'm going to share with you my time lapse of the video that I made today. And as I said before, I was thinking of coffee beans when I made this video. Only because I needed the energy to get through the day because I had a late night. And here it is basically. So if you're interested in watching more content like this, if this resonated with you, come back again tomorrow and I'll have another video for you and another pattern ready for you. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see you later. Goodbye.